gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I would like to welcome you to the hottest show in all the globe, right here on YouTube and every podcasting platform, the Welch Report. With me, Jean-Luc Welch. Everybody, make some noise. Yes, indeed, clap it up. Get excited. We are back. We are here and we are alive. And let me tell you something. We got some stuff to cover on this show. That's right, the big kahuna. The fight is here, the mega event that we've all been waiting for. The rematch, not for the undisputed heavyweight title, but for the heavyweight championship as a whole. Usyk versus Fury 2. It is on and popping, and we're going to break it down to who's going to win, what's going to happen, ramifications of this fight. We're going to have a debate. We're going to conversate, trust and believe. Oh, we're going to have a time. You don't want to miss what we got going on right here on this show. And again, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for listening. And if you haven't been here before, this is the Welch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch. We are one of the premier shows in all of YouTube and just entertainment as a whole. And we're available on right here on YouTube and every podcasting platform. And please, if you would, before we even get started, leave a like on the video and go ahead, comment your thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel, and share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. Oh yes, indeed, we are indeed moving our way up and making our way into the landscape of the dominant place in media. Oh, it's all thanks to you and your support. We have been so grateful for all your thanks, all your views, all your comments. We can make this show great, and it's all with you making it happen. Absolutely. And we're available on every podcasting platform. Again, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're there. And if we're not, we will get there. Mark my words. And please rate us 5 stars wherever you hear us, so that you can go and push this show to the top of the charts. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah, we're trying to make this big, a global thing. And it's all thanks to you and you making this possible. And that's what this is for. Yeah, I love to do it, but I love doing this for the people, for you all. So that's what we hear about. But again, all that stuff out the way, brother, sister, whoever's here, we got so much stuff, and predominantly it's going to be the heavyweight championship of the world that we're going to be discussing. But before that, we got some stuff to cover. Also in boxing, like with the major upset that's happened with Jaime Munguia. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about boxing. And now that we're talking about boxing, it is time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. That's it. Let's get it started. Round 1 underway. It's time to work. Oh, yes, indeed. And before we get to the heavyweight championship of the world, we got to talk about the upset with Jaime Munguia getting knocked out by Bruno Saras. My word. Great day in the morning. Good gosh. This is something nobody expected from this brother. Nobody expected this fight to go in any way, shape, or form, even the distance, let alone with Munguia being on the canvas. We got to see essentially a rising star that should have been evolving from the likes of Canelo, now falling flat on his back and getting knocked clean out. Absolutely getting destroyed. I mean, utterly blown away. Absolutely done away with by Bruno Saras. And again, Bruno Saras is a brother who, again, relatively unknown, doesn't have any sort of relative good power, is undefeated rather, 25-0 coming into this fight. 2 draws, only 4 KOs on his record. Now 5, counting Jaime Munguia. And this was a absolute shocking defeat because for the most part, Jaime Munguia was fighting like Jaime Munguia. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary when it came to Jaime Munguia in his production in this fight. It was relatively simple, coming forward like he always does, now again, he's not always technically sound, but incredibly tough, incredibly powerful, 35 KOs in his 42 wins on his resume. The man genuinely was supposed to be able to clean out Bruno, and this be a setup fight for Christian Mbili. And the winner of that fight between Mbili and Canelo now gets their mandatory shot at Canelo Alvarez, at the big face of boxing, at the undisputed super middleweight title. Oh, there was a lot on the line, trust and believe. But since all that is being said, now let's be perfectly frank. Now we're looking at a legitimately scary situation in the career of Jaime Munguia. But how exactly did he get knocked out clean? Well, let's break down the fight, shall we? After we were talking about what's going on, we saw Jaime Munguia genuinely, like I said before, doing everything that he's known for, doing everything that he normally does, operating in the same vein, was attacking the body of Bruno actually was doing more body work than we've seen in his career, even though he is a great body worker, learning from Canelo and taking the real estate that's given to him. And was attacking Bruno in the body, was going downstairs, throwing combinations. He didn't have to worry about the power of Bruno. But even still, you saw in the commentary said it themselves, there was some level of better defensive ability that we were seeing from Munguia. That's just the nature of the beast. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth of the matter. We were seeing him, using head movement a little bit more, being more judicial, being a lot more seemingly, being more deliberate and trying to do the right stuff, even though he doesn't do the right stuff all the time. But making an effort. That's what we saw. And it seemed like it was going to cruise to a victory. Knocked him down in round 2. Round 3, 4, and 5, we were seeing Bruno get some shots off, landing a big uppercut in round 4, I believe, seemingly hurting Munguia a little bit in round 4 as well at the end of that round. But on the whole, outside of the couple counter shots, we didn't think it was going to be anything different or anything major. But lo and behold, when we actually saw what was going on, my gosh, in round, was it round 6? I believe it was round 6. Yep, in round 6. The man just caught him. Caught him with the right hand, all because Munguia put his arms down. Did the old Tyrone Woodley against Jake Paul. Legitimately, the brother went to try to parry the jab and brought his arms completely down in doing so and left him wide open for the straight right that came off angle where Munguia couldn't rely on anything but his chin to keep him up. And brother, when it landed, boom, he went down. He went out. Clean one-punch KO. Now we are looking at Bruno. Hey, the brother's going to make some money. The brother's going to be legitimately seen as a opposition that everybody's going to want to have to face, or everybody's going to want to face. And he's going to get paid. They're going to get paid. His stock just rose, or at least his radar just got a bunch of red dots on it, because everybody now is going to be clamoring to fight this brother, because now you beat him who beat Munguia. For a lot of opponents, they're going to see him as an easy payday to get in, an easy stepping stone to get to where they want, which is ultimately a fight with Canelo. And heck, now that he beat Munguia, he is the new ticket. We thought he was going to be Christian and Billy. That was going to be the guy. If anybody was going to beat him, would be him. But now, oh no. And then what this means for Munguia and his opportunity at titles anymore, he's still incredibly young. Still, again, got 42, 43 fights to his resume. But now, after losing in this fashion to what was supposed to be a tune-up fight, we are talking about a man who is indeed on shaky ground, on rocky ground, on a concerning path in his career, because now we're looking at Munguia and saying, oh boy, you lost against a buddy that was supposed to be a tune-up fight, a literal keep busy fight. That's what he said he wanted to be. Now, now you got to go back to the drawing board. You have to retool. You have to regroup. What we thought you learned from Canelo now seemingly still has a ways to go. It's going to become some concerning opposition when it comes to the likes of Munguia and his career. Now we're going to be looking at the steps that he takes going forward. He's got to be perfect. He's got to be. He's got to be nigh perfect when it comes to what his career is at this point in time. Because if Munguia loses again, already we're saying that he might be out of elite contention. But right now, he can still recover. Yes, but in the eyes of the boxing world, and what was supposed to be a fight that you have no chance of losing to, oh boy, we are in a very dire straits. He's facing a roadblock. He is facing a crossroads, a major crossroads. Another loss will potentially put him as an afterthought in the minds of boxing fans. Already he's on the back burner after this loss, especially when the shock and awe of the immediate reaction. Oh boy, everything is up in arms. We don't even know if he's still going to get his fight for mandatory with Christian and Billy. And that might have been taken away after this performance. There is so much on the line that happened with this fight. And now we're looking at Munguia and we're saying, you did not learn what you should have learned from Canelo. And it further cements the fact that Canelo would have indeed, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. Canelo did indeed carry Jaime Munguia. That's the nature of the beast. Now with this performance, we aptly see that it wasn't that Canelo lacks power. It's the fact that Canelo legitimately was carrying Munguia. Legitimately. Because remember, in round 10, He had him on the ropes, and he had him hurt, wobbled, had him figured out, and could have gotten him out at any point in time. But he didn't. He chose not to. He held him up genuinely at the end of the rounds to keep him from getting knocked down, because he said he's a good fighter. He wants to see him get better, and he didn't want to just ruin him. That's what he said after the press conference. Everybody said, you're just blowing smoke, but no. That's real. That is indeed real. And because of that, hey, Munguia, he's got a ways to go. He's got a ways to go, and now the stamp that you had from Canelo, the light is starting to go away, starting to eke out, starting to set aside, starting to dim, when he was supposed to be one of the brightest rising stars in the division. Just goes to show, when you move up, now, yes, you beat John Ryder. Yes, you are indeed still good, but at this stage in career, you are at a division everybody can crack. Everybody can crack. Never you found it out when you faced off against Liam Wilson, and you found it out now when you fought against, again, Bruno Saras. It's, oh boy, talk about a scary sentiment. We're going to see what happens all that as time goes forward. But Munguia, you got to develop. You got to learn. And you have to grow. But now that we've covered that out the way, and that was the biggest upset and one of the biggest talking points of the night, we have to go and discuss one of the biggest things in boxing right now, and that is Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk in the rematch of the millennium. Oh, yes, indeed, the rematch of the century. The rematch that everybody's been having on their hearts and minds, and we are needing to discuss who will win. Oh, we already know who's the best heavyweight in the world right now, but this would be a legitimate thing where could we see Tyson Fury gain, or rather retool, regroup, and come back to win? Or could we see Usyk further cement himself as indeed separate from the rest of the pack, a man amongst men in this division? Oh yeah, we about to talk about it right now. Where's my, oh no, give me 1 second, yo. Actually, before I take this quick break, remember, you can leave a comment in the chat and you can go and conversate about what we got going on with whatever you want to discuss. That's right. Leave your questions, leave your comments, leave your concerns, and we will, again, we'll be here to debate. We'll be here to talk. We'll be here to conversate. We'll be here to go through all the questions and comments. And at the end of the show, oh, trust and believe, we have the championship rounds. Anybody and everybody can talk about whatever you want to discuss, and we can have it out right here, right now. But real quick, I forgot my coffee. Oh boy, I need to make sure I'm hyped up and energized for what we got going on. So give me 1 second, 30 seconds. I will return, and when we come back, oh yes indeed, we're gonna discuss Canelo. Oh, not Canelo. Oh boy, we're gonna discuss Tyson Fury versus Usyk. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, as I said, I'm back from my quick break, and we are here. We're back, we're live, and we're ready to keep on covering the world of boxing as we are in the biggest hyped up fight of the millennia, of the at least of this year as of right now, with Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk in their rematch. And again, if you don't know, we are available on every podcasting platform imaginable. On this show, we cover basketball, boxing, and whatever the world you all want to talk about as well. We are a multi-faceted hub of sports entertainment that you all will love to enjoy, and you don't want to miss what we got going on. Trust and believe. But again, we're back, we're here, and we got so much to say on this show. We are now talking about Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, the fight that everybody's been waiting on. The biggest night in boxing, at least of this year, or one of the biggest nights of boxing of this year. Will we see Usyk and Fury go and essentially do a retelling of what we saw last time, or will there be a potential opportunity to see Tyson Fury gain the upper hand and reclaim his throne as the baddest man on the planet? We got so much to talk about. So let's jump right into it right now with recapping real quick what happened in the first fight around. Yes, indeed. And if you remember, it was a situation where we saw Usyk indeed turn it up late in the fight after a really back and forth affair between Tyson Fury and Usyk. With Tyson Fury, again, early rounds, it was Usyk with the body work. Then it was Tyson Fury with the adaptations, with the ability to catch Usyk and with the ability to really throw some letter, let the power fly. It was something where, hey, he was really starting to pick apart Usyk in that rhythm and the essentially his length, strength, and legitimate boxing ability and footwork were able to keep him safe and have him score. And it seemed like it was something that Usyk may not be able to overcome. But in round 7, after Usyk got wobbled and hurt with uppercuts, we then saw Usyk turn it up, get it going, dig deep, and reach a new level, that 6th gear of sorts that we've talked about multiple times on this show, and come out on top and indeed take it to Tyson Fury. And then what we saw again was around 9. We saw one of the biggest moments in the fight with him rocking Tyson Fury, hurting Tyson Fury, knocking down Tyson Fury, the likes of which we've never seen from Tyson Fury before. We've seen him one punch and put out. We haven't seen him wobbled, hurt, on shaky legs, and indeed out the pasture, seemingly on his feet. Hadn't seen that before. Brand new type of feeling, brand new type of experience, brand new type of situation that Tyson Fury was in. And from that point on, Usyk kept control, kept the fight, and inevitably pulled out the win. Did what many people said was impossible. Now that we are here, and now that we see that was what happened the first time, when it comes to Usyk and Fury 2, how exactly is this fight going to go, and what does each person need to do in order to win? Well, now we get to break down the fight. Now, let's analyze, shall we? Now, let's go delve deep into the annals of boxing and talk about what each must do to win. And we'll start with Usyk, biggest thing, the winner of the last fight. And the point is, with Usyk, he just needs to do relatively the same thing that he did last time. He needs to do the same thing that he did the last time out. The game plan does not change, at least not severely, for somebody like Tyson Fury, or for somebody like Usyk, excuse me. The game plan doesn't need to shift and go and shake up. It doesn't. The game plan really needs to be the same. The game plan really needs to be, you keep doing what you're doing. Keep on going to the body. Keep on taking the real estate that's available. And that's one of the biggest things that Usyk does that is so underappreciated with this game. The reason why Usyk is able to constantly keep the distance, close the distance, seemingly never let you go and never get you out of his grasp is because of the fact that he always takes what's available. You've never seen this man indeed go and try to commit to just one thing solely. He's always, because he's a smaller heavyweight, because he's a man that's lacking in height, because he's a man that is indeed fighting in a giant's division, headhunting isn't something you can afford to do. What must be done is you go and you take what's given to you. If the body's open, you take the body. You're always landing. You're always touching. Nothing, and not only does it score points for you, but with your opponent, nothing that they do makes it seem like they can get away from you. It gets into the mind of the opponent mentally because they continually keep on not being able to gain any separation. You're like a fly that they can't get rid of. You're always in their headspace and in their airspace, even when they seem like they've done everything right. And it's because with Tyson Fury in the fight that he was in with Usyk, Usyk kept on attacking the body. Usyk didn't try to jab to the head all the time. Usyk continually took and punched straights and power shots to the body. to constantly make sure that he never not only lost track, not only kept on scoring, but always made Tyson Fury feel the pressure. The stiff arms didn't help. The footwork didn't help. Leaning back didn't help. Because whatever you do to manipulate your guard, you're always getting touched. And you're never safe. That's one of the things that Usyk does better than anybody else in the heavyweight division. And that's why he was able to be so good. That's why he was able to be so great. That's why he was able to indeed shock the world. At least that was a part of the game plan that shocked the world. On top of that, we're looking at a man who is indeed, in terms of Usyk, with him keeping in tune what he did right the first time, he's able to use the speed and combinations to overwhelm Tyson Fury just like he did last time. Having the ability to go and push the pace by making Fury uncomfortable again. Using his speed to jump in. Using his explosiveness to be able to lunge at Tyson Fury when Tyson Fury isn't expecting. Using his ability to go and make himself essentially almost like a jump scare. If you watch horror movies, I'm not a big fan of horror movies. Again, you can love yourself The Ring. You can love yourself even as recently as Five Nights at Freddy's, the actual movie that came out. Hey, if that's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. Ain't my cup of tea, that's tell you that. But jump scares, why they're so prevalent is because even when you think that you're done or when you're safe, when they jump out at you, it is still at such an unpredictable opportunity and when everything seems the calmest. Or when your tension is high and you're almost over expecting something to happen. You're overly anxious for what's going to come, which adds to when it does come, now you're scared. That's what Usyk does. Usyk is a jump scare in the boxing world. Indeed, he will. Not only that you know that he's going to come, but it's the fact that he continually, when he does come forward, when he does commit, when he does go and lunge at you, when he does close the gap, it is so quick and it is so hidden in all the feints and movement that he does in the fight. It makes it so that even when you know it's coming, you don't know what is coming. So you then get caught, get rocked, and then you get hurt. Because it jumps at you and it's so offbeat and it constantly changes when it happens. Nothing is ever the same. It is a talent that Usyk has. Nobody, again, almost nobody in the heavyweight division has it to that degree. There's a reason why he's one of the pound for pound top 3 in the world. And we're going to get to whether or not he will be the best after this fight. Oh, trust and believe. We're going to talk about the results of pound-for-pound listings as well once this all goes down. And in fact, let me make sure I put this in my notes so we can make sure that we link back to it after this. Trust me, it's a conversation we want to have. But let me tell you something right now. When it comes to Usyk, the last thing outside of the jump scare level of explosiveness and off timing to close the gap and make Tyson Fury incredibly uncomfortable, on top of the combinations of speed and footwork that we know is able to keep up and outwork Tyson Fury. The biggest thing that Usyk needs to do is essentially look to not deviate too much. There is a level of overcorrection that can happen when you have beaten somebody. Not saying that he doesn't need to prepare for what may change with Tyson Fury, but the issue is when it comes to Tyson Fury, I've said this also, I don't know what else Tyson Fury can do concretely to say, yes, he will be able to eke out a win. Now, why I say that, I'll get into it when I go and break down how Tyson Fury can win. And I'll get you my final prediction after all of this. Again, we got to tell the story. We got to build the building blocks. We got to make sure that we go and give you the blueprint. Because some of y'all betting with what I got to say. So if y'all gonna use me as a proxy to place some money, I'll tell you this right now. You got to be sure that you get all the right stuff so you make a well-informed decision. And if you are betting, please bet responsibly. I ain't got no sponsor, but please bet responsibly. Don't be going over the hill with money you ain't got. I need a sponsor so I can give this, sponsored by FanDuel or somebody like that, so I can help be an advocate for the change in people that may have a slight problem with the odds of the game. But again, that's a whole nother conversation. But when it comes to Tyson Fury and Usyk, again, last thing with Usyk, when it comes to him, on top of everything else I've just said, make sure you turn it up, just like he did in the second fight. In the second fight, that's really what was selling. The biggest thing with Usyk isn't just the first half game plan. It's always in the second half, forcing the opponent to have to react and never letting that type of momentum go. When it comes to Usyk and Fury, Just like in the first fight. Just like with Daniel Dubois. Just like with Anthony Joshua. Every fight that Usyk's been in, it has been second half of the fight. He took control because he overwhelmed the opponent, and you have to adapt to me rather than me adapting to you. That's the biggest thing that can help him win. Indeed. Making sure that you keep the second half of the fight in your control, as you've done so many times. Switch to that new gear. Switch to that different level. Switch to that different atmosphere. That sixth gear that nobody else, or relatively few people in the division, have that can match where you get to. You did it in the first fight, and you got to do it again. If you don't, we may have some problems. But if you do, at fifth gear, you can box with Fury. Absolutely. But there may be an argument that with Fury, he can't fight in a sixth gear. He's got a great fifth gear. But Usyk may be the only person in the division that has a sixth gear that he can reach and attain and get to, so that he is able to indeed gain all the gap he needs. So he's able to indeed go and separate himself. Tyson Fury's fifth gear can beat just about anybody in boxing. His fifth gear can box with Usyk's fifth gear. His fifth gear can arguably beat Usyk in fifth gear, as we saw in the first fight. Because when he was outboxing him and beating him to the punch, it was working. Hey, that was, again, the best Tyson Fury I had seen since Klitschko. Arguably the best ever in my estimation. I think this Tyson Fury has an easier time facing off against the rudimentary level of Klitschko, because he was still, even with him losing footwork that he used to have early on in his career, he was still able to go and box and bounce and go with Usyk up until the later rounds. Against Klitschko, even this Tyson Fury would have been able to still box by the end of the round, and just moving would have been able to keep Klitschko at bay. Because Klitschko, again, as great of a boxer as he was, fleet of foot, it was something that gave him the biggest concern. And this Tyson Fury still had that, just not to the level of Usyk. And when it came time to elevate one more time, Tyson Fury operates at fifth gear once he really gets going. But he can't get above that. But that fifth gear is something that is indeed special. That fifth gear is what you saw against Deontay Wilder. It looked different, but it was still fifth gear. He can change what the gear does. The gear can add more torque, or the gear can add more speed. But either way, the gear is the gear. But that's what Tyson Fury has, and it's phenomenal. But Usyk just has another level above that he just can't reach, or at least hasn't shown that he can reach yet. And so with all of that being said, that is the easiest way that we could see Usyk winning. Keeping the game plan, staying consistent, taking control of the second half of the fight after round 7, making it so that the fight is able to still be attainable after round 7. And then turn it up and go and force the opponent to adapt to you and change the whole landscape of the fight simply by switching gears. That's what Usyk needs to do. Oh, and that left jab, right straight combo that hurt him, now that he knows that he's got power, oh, trust and believe, he's looking for that same punch again. He's looking for it again. And if he can land that again, and Usyk and Fury's already wary, because now he knows that he can be hurt. Oh yeah, there's a clear path for Usyk to get a win, and it could be even by knockout, surprising a lot of people. But that's the track that he could take. But when it comes to Usyk, or when it comes to Fury rather, he's got a game plan that he can do. There's more work to be done, but trust and believe, he's got a game plan that can win. But before we get to the game plan for Tyson Fury, let's go to the comments, shall we? And also, please, if you haven't already, leave a like on the video. Comment your thoughts and opinions right here in the chat. Leave your stuff. Love to hear what you got to say. And please like the video and share it so we can get this stream up to the masses. I don't know why people aren't getting notification that we're live on the show. I thought I'd set everything up so everybody gets it, but some people may be a little late to the party. But even still, we're going to accept them and bring them in afterwards. And you can still watch this whole show back on YouTube and listen to it on every podcasting platform imaginable. And so please rate us 5 stars there. Leave a like here to get the algorithm to push us up. And let's go to what you all have to say when it comes to the comments of this show. Brother, we got people coming in and we're so happy to say, hey, brother, how you doing? Great that you showed up. What's it? Let me see if I can get your name right. Amina. Is it Amani? Amina. No, Okay, yeah. Amina, how you doing? Glad that you're here. Glad that you showing up on the show. Appreciate you coming in. You got Usyk winning. Hey, great. By KO. Hey, now, that's something that a lot of people may have going against you because they may see it as going into a decision. They may see Fury getting knocked out entirely. But hey, I'll tell you whether I agree or disagree. But it's not out the question that we could see Usyk KO Tyson Fury, absolutely. Hey, but no, wait, no, before I get to you, Justin, how you doing, brother? Yes, sir. What's going on, Justin? Glad you're here, glad you're back, glad you're listening. If you're on your job and just the fact you came on to comment, I appreciate it. I'm so glad that you are here. Mark my words, this is going to be a fight that you don't want to miss, and I'm glad you're here to listen to the breakdown and all the ins and outs that this fight will indeed bring to the table. Jay Rizzo, brother, yes, how you doing? Glad you're here. Welcome to the show. I'm back listening, and again, glad that you taking time out on the show, and let's see what you got to say about the fight. Usyk's very light on his feet, yes, and that's why he's dangerous, absolutely, and he should have gotten the KO if once would have saving him. Hey, see, that's the thing. Now, granted, I will say this, with any other opponent, that probably would have been a knockout, or at least a knockdown at minimum. As in earlier, when there were a couple times when the ropes kept him up, and so it should have been a knockdown earlier, allowing for Usyk to have more time to potentially close the show, or in fact a straight up knockout outright. There is an argument because he was defenseless for nearly 30 seconds with no form of legitimate responsiveness and or great defense to show that you are active and aware. But it's only because of the known heart and iron chin of Tyson Fury that we saw this brother survive. And even though I may not like it, I have to respect it because there is a standard that Tyson Fury set for himself where you should expect the brother to still be able to come out fighting. If you can take Deontay Wilder and his best shot clean and still get up when you should have been down, and you've been down to that brother 4 times, hey, even though people may not like it, there is an understandable reputation that we should trust when he goes into a fight. So his argument should be a KO, absolutely. But understand the precedent that he already set for himself with proven track record that, yeah, if I'm hurt, don't count me out immediately. Give me a chance to recover, and I'll show you what I can do. And he showed you what he could do. Even after he got hurt, he was still able to not only box decently well after that round, but for the rest of the fight, still, he made a fight of it. He indeed did. The point blank period. Let's see. Amani, Usyk's promoter said that he has gained some weight. That's a word for me. Ooh, okay. So he's saying he's gained some weight. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Now that's a good question. Now, here's the thing. With Usyk, he's got the ability to gain weight. He's got the ability to gain some weight because, again, with him gaining weight isn't something that's going to be like objectively, oh my gosh. Him gaining weight may only be a couple pounds. And like you said down here, it could be muscle. And similar to other boxers, not with everybody. Some people, yes, you don't want to gain weight. But with others, gaining weight could elevate you without taking anything away. And with Usyk never going so far above what his weight normally is, gaining 2 or 3 pounds may not be something that is bad for him. It could be something that his body can handle. He is an anomaly. So let's understand it. Now, the reason why he may be gaining weight is exactly what I'm about to discuss. And I think Rizzo, excuse me, Jay, wait a minute. I think I've been saying your name wrong. Jay Riggs, excuse me, my bad. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Hey, look at this. I apologize. Jay Riggs, not Rizzo. I'm so sorry. Y'all, I'm trying to read the screen. I got so many tabs on my computer to keep track of notes and everything. Stuff may get a little bit small. So I know how to read, okay? I went to college, so I know what I'm doing. I just misread you all sometimes. I'm so sorry. Jay Riggs, not Rizzo. Jay Riggs. He gained weight to handle Fury's tactics of leaning on the opponent's body. And let me tell you something. I'm about to touch on it. We're going to get into the game plan of Tyson Fury right now. Let me just read off these last couple lines. With Jay Riggs, you are on to something. Light on his feet, dangerous. You say, and Amani, you may say that he is somebody that is indeed gaining weight is a problem. Promise you this. Might not be a problem. It really might not be a problem. Because if you say that 2 or 3 pounds of extra muscle uses a lot more oxygen, yes, it does. But 2 or 3 pounds for Usyk isn't something that is so detrimental. It might not be. If anything, it could be the fact that he can handle that. Because with what he's already been able to do this so well with the frame that he's got currently. So if he's preparing what I think he's going to prepare for, yeah, I think he'll be okay. Now, again, that could backfire. But Usyk's one of the few people that I think can gain weight in this division and still retain everything that he's got at his disposal. And it could be because he's looking for the KO this time. It could be because the 2 or 3, again, this isn't Deontay Wilder who went and gained 10, 20, 30 pounds when he normally fights at 112. He came to a fight, or excuse me, not 112, my gosh. When Wilder came into the fight with Usyk as a 212 fighter, 212, 214 was his ideal weight. That's how he operated the best, 212 pounds to 214 pounds. When he came in to fight Tyson Fury at his biggest, he came in fighting 236. Now that's a jump. That is a steep jump. Usyk, for the majority of his entire career, has been fighting at about 220. So if he gets to 220 to 225 even, that's not bad. Mind you, Mike Tyson fought at 215 at his best, 215, 220. At his biggest, he was able to fight at 225. Or fight at 225 comfortably. And while the prime of his boxing ability had waned only because of outside forces and him losing the luster of boxing, understand, when he was in his physical peak out of jail, the brother was pushing 230. And so if he had been able to have the boxing acumen that he had when he was younger, and the discipline and the people around him that were keeping him in check from the wiles of fame and boxing stardom, the brother would have indeed been even. He wouldn't have lost. I wholeheartedly believe it. But his body could handle what the frame maturated into. Because again, he was physical anomaly. And with Usyk, I'm not saying he's as much of an anomaly as Tyson, as Mike Tyson, but he is somebody who has shown. But he came into and eased himself into getting to 220 when he fought against AJ, who was 240, 250. And still, when we were saying, hey, he got big for the fight at that point in time. Is that going to be a problem? Turned out to be no problem at all. So I think he'll be fine. But now, when we go through this fight, and hey, yeah, Wilder put on too much muscle and was fighting in quicksand. The very thing that made him so detrimental wasn't the size, it was the speed. His power was already warranted. The speed of him was able to go and do what he needed to do. Again, he knocked down Tyson Fury clean when he was 212. So he didn't need the extra muscle. What he needed was better boxing ability. What he needed was frame and balance to not get put on the back foot and the ability to fight off the back foot so he wouldn't get mauled. That was more so tactics rather than just size. Though size did play a factor, understandable. But he shot himself in the foot. And now he's never the same. But with all that out the way, again, now we got to go. We got to do what we got to do. We got to do what we came in for. Talking about Tyson Fury, talking about his keys to victory as we transition. Oh, yes, indeed. Now when we look at Tyson Fury, what he needs to do to win this fight against Usyk. Understand, the changes are not major, but the changes are absolutely necessary. Because if not, the roadblocks that we saw in the last fight will happen again. Starting with the jab. Keep that jab going. One of the biggest things that made Usyk have to work so hard was the fact that he had that jab and that length that Fury was using made it so that Usyk had to work all night long to get to where he needed to be. Keep on popping that jab. Keep on putting something in his face. Keep on making Usyk have to work to get to where he wants to be. You can't lose it. You have to use it. You just like in the first fight. And just like when you were winning rounds, using that jab to time your opponent, that is going to be one of the key things to make this, again, start to go to a fight that you can control. And on top of that, use your power. Now, why do I say that? I'm not saying overthrow and do everything. But in this fight, earlier. Be willing to sit down on the shots that you throw. And the reason why I said it is because if you remember the first fight, my gosh, when Tyson Fury started taking control after round 4, the brother was throwing leather. The brother was throwing heavy. The man indeed was putting, and not only putting power behind his punches, but was sitting down, forcing Usyk back by the threat of what was coming at him. See, there's a difference in just overwhelming and making it so that an opponent, hey, I got volume coming at me. I got to move. But with Fury, it was, I got power coming at me. I can't just come in. I can't. There's an opportunity to counter, but if I miss the counter, I got another shot coming at me. And I got to be where, I got to think. I got to think even more. Because now the risk, while the window may be easier to take over, the risk is something that now is even greater. That can be something to deter Usyk and also gain some more success and do the biggest thing that he needs to do in this fight, which I will touch on again in the midst of this. But there is one thing that he's got to do, two things that he's got to do that are paramount to everything else in this game plan for Fury to win. But one of them, or one of the things as a whole, use your power more. Let him feel your leather earlier in the fight. Throw those hooks that you had that were landing even on the guard. Throw those hooks and uppercuts. And that's another thing. The uppercut. The uppercut of Tyson Fury is going to be the biggest key to victory. That is the most successful shot that Tyson Fury had in this fight with Usyk. There's no question about it. The uppercut is what rocked Usyk. The uppercut is what was getting through Usyk's guard when he was dipping in and out and ducking up and down and all around. That's the thing you were able to consistently time and catch and hurt Usyk with. That's the thing that nearly put this fight in your full favor. That's the thing that wobbled Usyk. That is the thing that gave Usyk the most trouble. And that was the biggest thing that Usyk had to adapt to. The uppercut of Tyson Fury, especially that lead uppercut, not even the power uppercut, the lead uppercut, the one that comes with the arm right in front of Usyk. That's the thing that was the threat. Oh, it was so prevalent, so prominent, so dangerous, and it came out in such a I'm not gonna say flimsy. It's not flimsy. It's relaxed fashion. Tyson Fury, I want him to throw leather. Yes, I want him to use more power to make Usyk have to think some more. But what I do need him to do when it comes to that uppercut, don't throw the uppercut with power. Instead, throw the uppercut with ease. Throw it relaxed. Just like when you throw a jab, you don't tighten the punch until the end of it. You don't need you let momentum take it until boom. Right then, that's when you go and do it. You don't load up with power outright. While I want him to do that with other punches, at least a little more often. Not ridiculous, but a little more often. With the uppercut, keep that uppercut as fluid and loose as possible. Keep it as easy to get off as possible. Because when that happens, that's when you'll get Usyk really catch you. In my opinion, that'll be your best bet to catch him. Because it took Usyk 5 rounds to adapt to that. It took him 5. Especially when Fury didn't get tired. It took him 5 rounds to react and finally adapt to the uppercut. Now, after that, will we see Usyk make the same mistake or already have the adaptation in his game plan so he never gets hit again? Maybe so, maybe not. But the best way to test that, go for it. And you have to. You have to. You have to go for it. Because that's the punch that could potentially, if anybody wants to say that you can get a KO, that's the punch to do it. That's the punch that'll get it done. That uppercut. The lead uppercut to do some damage and the rear uppercut to finish the show. That's the punch that'll do it. You throw that, you land that, that's going to be your biggest thing. And that'll be your biggest weapon in this fight. And also, now all of this goes and melds into one of the 2 biggest things that he needs to do to beat Usyk. And that is Tyson Fury needs to make him back up. He's got to. Tyson Fury has got to make Usyk back up. He's got to make Usyk back up. He's got to make Usyk go on the back foot. You can't let Usyk stalk you all night long. You cannot let Usyk be able to walk you down and cut off the ring and be the man walking forward. You have to be able to push that brother back. You have to be able to make him have to be somebody that isn't not even in the mid-range, not even standing and boxing right in front of you. I'm talking, you got to force him to work on the back foot if you want your best opportunity to find some level of success. When Tyson Fury was winning the rounds and was winning the fight in the middle rounds, he was indeed forcing Usyk back. Now, he wasn't just walking forward all willy-nilly, no, but he was indeed making it so that Usyk needed to be able to reset and reset often. The threat of the leather, the threat of the power, the threat of the uppercut, and the forward walking ability is what made Usyk have the most trouble. That's what made Tyson Fury seem like he was in full control. And also in tandem with using the ring, using your length. Not saying that you come forward all fight long, but you have to. With what we saw in the last fight, one of the biggest successes is being able to walk the opponent down, especially with Usyk. Make him have to not be able to just come forward all night long. And you did it with Wilder. You did it with Wilder, and you got to do it with Usyk. And I think that's why we see Usyk gaining weight, because we're gonna see that if I see it, they saw it. The biggest success of Tyson Fury was when he was coming forward. That was the biggest success of Tyson Fury, coming forward, and the second biggest thing that was most prevalent that he's got to do. But again, we'll tease that for later, for at the end of this. But one of the biggest things is coming forward, using his ability to make Usyk back up, using the momentum and the threat of the power to go in and indeed make Usyk not be able to say, hey, I can feint, and get and lunge. Now, if I feint, well, all that bouncing, he's getting closer and closer. All that bouncing now, he's closing the distance on me. I can't lunge for where I don't have any space. I can't leap forward when there's no space to jump. And because of that, now Tyson Fury's got an opportunity to where, hey, if I keep trying to feint and bounce right in front of him, that uppercut is there. The hard shots are there. The big leather is there for me to get caught with. That's what I got to worry about. That's what made Usyk have so much trouble in the first fight. So walk him forward. Walk him down. Be more like you were in the Wilder fight. Implementing the two styles. Boxing on the outside and walking your opponent down. You got to do it. You have to do it. And on top of walking him down, clinch him up. Clinch him up. Clinch him up. Tyson Fury clinched up about 7 times in the fight with Usyk the first time around. Tyson Fury clinched up Usyk 7 times. The smaller opponent, he clinched him up 7 times, and he clinched him up late in the fight. But at that point in time, it was too little too late. At that point in time, it was too little too late to do, again, one of the biggest things to help him succeed. Take out the gas tank. Not just clinch him up to take away the ability for Usyk to have success when he gets on the inside, but clinch him up in order to make it so that Usyk doesn't have the biggest thing that makes him so dominant. Take away that stamina. Take away the ability to go into the later rounds. You got to do it. You have to do it. Not just forward momentum to make Usyk have to back up, but take away that forward pressure, or take away that forward pressure from Usyk by clinching him up. Lean on him. Legitimately lean on him. Take the page that you took out of Deontay Wilder and put it on Usyk. You have to. There's no way. And I'm talking about do it early. Do it early. Make him carry you early. Because as we saw, even with respect to Tyson Fury can fight for 12 rounds. Yes, he can. But he can't bounce for 12 rounds. He can't be on his toes for 12 rounds. He was able to box with Usyk up until a point to where he couldn't box anymore because he didn't have footwork. Because he got tired. That is something that you can't do. And when that happens, there's nothing else that Tyson Fury is able to rely on when Usyk is still having all the energy, the second wind, the sixth gear to go and push the pace. And now you don't have the energy to defend. You can't keep your arms up in that long jab up. You are now fighting on the back burner and only able to react to Usyk instead of being able to come forward and indeed match Usyk for the entirety of the fight. Because you were able to box with and even in some cases outbox Usyk up until you physically could not. That is what Usyk is. That's what makes him so great. But that's Tyson Fury's biggest weakness. That if he fixes that, we're maybe looking at a whole new fight, a brand new affair. If Tyson Fury clinches up Usyk, if Tyson Fury goes and makes it so that Usyk is drained by the time the round 7 and on comes about, and when it's time for that second wind to kick in, he makes it so that Usyk can't use it because he doesn't have the energy. Now, instead of fighting up to Usyk's level, you make Usyk fight down to yours. I'm not talking about boxing ability, though I think Usyk is a better boxer than Tyson Fury. Absolutely. I think he's the best boxer of this era of heavyweights. Understandable. But in terms of when I say fight down to your level, I'm talking about from when when he turns it up. Now, for the entirety of the fight, I don't care who you say was winning or losing up until after round 7, especially after knockdown in round 9. Tyson Fury was right there with him. There was no question. He was right there with him. But when it came time to go to the next dimension, he couldn't get there. Physically, he could not get there. But now with Tyson Fury, if he makes it so that Usyk is now forced to fight him in his own domain, if he makes it so that Usyk is now, you got to fight at the same gas tank level, the same fatigue level as me. Now we got a shot at, yeah, I can beat you. I can take you out. I can take away that sixth gear by taking out the gas tank, flooding the basement, and put water in the basement. In the words of Teddy Atlas, flood the engine. The best way to make it so that a car can't go, if you don't want to if you don't want to get and just have to essentially not put gas in it, flood the engine. Flood it. That way it can't do anything. If an engine's flooded, it can't do anything. And with Usyk, that engine is so incredibly high and can reach the heights that nobody else in the heavyweight division can reach. But if you flood that engine, if you put water in the basement early, if you fatigue Usyk, not with punches, but with legitimate, with legitimate, with legitimate clinching up, yeah, you can do it. Absolutely, you can do it. And hey, Jay Riggs, oh gosh, we've been commenting all night long. Gotta go. Time for lunch break. Till next time. Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you coming in. My gosh, I've been so much on a trying to break down the fight. I didn't even get to come in and talk about y'all. Thank you for tuning in. And please, if you would leave a like before you go. I can't wait to see you back on Thursday. We're gonna be back here on Thursday as well. Trust and believe at 12 o'clock. But even still, appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you coming in. Oh, we got a lot of comments. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh boy. Usyk said in his interview, Usyk in every interview has rosary beads in his hands, and you can see his lips moving. Yeah, he's praying. Yeah, absolutely. He's incredibly, deeply spiritual. Absolutely. He's a devout Christian. This is one of the biggest reasons why he's been he's been so tuned in with faith. Because for him, that's what got him to this point. No question about it. Usyk understands the spiritual battle as much as it is a physical. Absolutely. He understands that this is, again, Tyson Fury, both of them. How they live their life, that's a completely different story. I have no qualms with talking about anything. But internally, what they perpetuate, they both view this as, hey, I am indeed here because of God. That's how both of them feel. And so with them, yeah, it is for them, it's a spiritual battle. Understandable. Absolutely. And then when it comes to, let's see, Tyson's hardest test is he lost the hunger. Once he started waking up, yeah, see? And yeah, that was his biggest test, but you had to Francis Ngannou. Now, with Jay Riggs, when he came back after fighting Francis Ngannou, you can say what you want. That brother looked the best he'd ever been. The hunger was back, even in a losing defeat, even in a losing effort. The hunger was indeed back. It was there. It came back. It was forced back by him getting essentially exposed by Francis Ngannou. And I think it's going to be even more fiery now that somebody actually beat the Gypsy King. Mark my words, we're going to see a more determined Tyson Fury than we've ever seen potentially in his career. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Fury can go. This is Robert Brown. Appreciate you joining in on the show. Glad you're here. Glad you're back. Glad you're joining in on this breakdown. Let's see what you got to say. Fury can go 12 rounds and moves like he's 6'9". Yeah. He's on cocaine. Now he's on. Some people say he's on a couple things, but I'll tell you this right now. He used to be on a couple things. Now, thankfully, he looks like he's living a clean life. But inside the ring, yeah, that brother looks crazy. He looks insane, especially at that size and at that frame. He shouldn't be able to move like that, and he can. Issue is he can only do that for a certain period of time. Because he can only do that for a certain period of time, especially against an elite boxer like Usyk. Again, a great heavyweight with good size beats a good heavyweight with great size. Tyson Fury is a good heavyweight with great elite size. But when it comes to boxing, when that good becomes, I don't even want to say average, but when that good falters in terms of your boxing ability and your execution, that's when stuff goes wrong. That's when stuff goes haywire. And again, for some people, yes, he is the great white hope for a lot of people. But as the whole, he is the Gypsy King. And when it comes to the story that he's brought to boxing, regardless of what you want to say about him, the man indeed has been a beacon of hope for many, many people. He's been a beacon of hope for many, many people around the globe with what he's overcame. So essentially, for some, yeah, he's the great white hope. And I know exactly what you mean when you say that. But for a lot of people, the man is just hope. Because he showed with his battle with depression, battle with suicide, battle with going through a depth that nobody thought he would be able to get out of. Came out on top. And so the man is indeed somebody who is an inspiration. For some people, for the wrong reasons. But for many people, and for me, oh yeah, he's somebody, if you get from the gutter, you can still come back. You can still come back, absolutely. No question in my mind. And boxing is a business, before it's a sport. We could definitely see Tyson Fury potentially, hey, we want a trilogy. Let's give him the fight, even if he does in fact lose. Just so we can make some more money out of it. Or even call it a draw. Whatever the case may be. Boxing is a business. Yeah, it can be dirty. But with all that being said, the man still is indeed. He can pull this out without the judge's need and without the judge's help, rather. But again, as we keep on breaking down Tyson Fury and what he needs to do, we're looking at Tyson Fury. He is a fighter whose stamina is going to be the biggest weapon. He's got to be able to get his stamina, if not better, force Usyk, like I said earlier, to fight to his stamina level. Again, fight down to where he is. By clenching up, by using his frame, by leaning on him. Even for the first 5 rounds, as much as you can, force Usyk to legitimately carry you. Make it so that the ref has to pull you apart. Become dead weight. Maul. You have to. You have to maul him. And take away that second half sprint that he's constantly able to do. You have to do it. If you don't do it, there's not going to be an opportunity to be as successful as you want to be. There's not going to be one. It's not going to be a situation where you can indeed win. Because the same story is going to happen where you get outboxed and overwhelmed in the second half of the fight because you physically can't do what you need to do. You couldn't have the success. You just couldn't. And then on top of that, attack the body. And that's part number 2. That's the second thing. Not just take away the stamina, which was, again, the biggest thing. Make him fight to your level. Not just throwing leather. Not just throwing power shots. Attack the body. Go downstairs. Flooding water in the basement ain't just about taking away the stamina. Attack the body, because that's Usyk's biggest weakness. It is. Going downstairs and attacking the body is Usyk's biggest weakness to be able to be successful. That's his biggest Achilles heel. Daniel Dubois nearly took him out. Some people argue that he was a knockdown. Some people argue that he should have been a knockout because the brother wouldn't be able to get up in many people's minds. Usyk is not a person that likes the body. Usyk, when he gets punched in the body, he complains. Usyk is indeed susceptible to damage downstairs. He is. Anthony Joshua, when he fought him, he had success going to the body to Usyk. Anthony Joshua was winning the fight second time round, or not winning the fight, but having a better outing in the fight, hurt Usyk, got him legitimately worried in the second time round when he went to the body, when he committed to downstairs work, when he committed to going through and attacking the midsection of Usyk. That is what Fury needs to do. He's got to attack downstairs. If he doesn't, he will not be successful. It will be a crying shame if he doesn't do it. Because he was, again, piggybacking on what happened in the first fight, he was having success. He was having a great opportunity to be able to control the fight with attacking the basement, with throwing heavy leather downstairs, uppercuts downstairs, hooks downstairs. Throwing downstairs is what will get you the win. You have to do it now more than ever. There is no excuse. If you saw the reactions, if you saw how the momentum was shifting, if you saw how he didn't like it, everything showed me that Usyk, if you attack him downstairs to the body, he will indeed get frustrated. He will get upset. He will be, and genuinely, the man will get to a point where he will be fed up. It'll happen. It's happened in the past. This is not something that's out the question. This is real. This is what Usyk brings. And when it comes to Usyk, if you can attack the body, that's his biggest threat, to make him wary of wanting to come in on the inside. That can help stop him coming on the inside because of the fact that now he is hurt. The gas tank not only is concerning, but now he's damaged goods working in on the inside. Now he's damaged goods, scared to come and close the distance. All of that goes in tandem with the body attack that Usyk brings to the table. All of it. All of it. All of it. It comes down to that. If we see that happen, hey, we can see him succeed. But if he forgoes that, especially how close the fight was the first time around, it's going to be a situation where the brother, he just won't. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It will not happen. And with all that being said, that's the game plan that he can win. That is the game plan that we can see Tyson Fury use to be able to be successful. Use the jab. Use your power more. Go downstairs more than you've ever done, dare I say, in your career, because that is Usyk's biggest weapon. And if you can't hit him upstairs, the body is always present. That's what you need to do. Land the uppercut when he comes in. Use pressure to put Usyk on the back foot. Take out the stamina of Usyk so that when the second round surge comes and the sixth gear needs to be turned on, he can't access it because he doesn't have the ability to access it physically. It's one of the biggest things that needs to happen. Clinch up when he gets on the inside as much as you can. Make him carry your weight. Legitimately this time. Legitimately. If you got to do what Devin Haney does, do it. But you got to take away that stamina before round 7. On top of that, you cannot let legitimate opposition, you can't let opportunities pass you by. You can't. There was a point in time when Usyk got hurt, I believe it was round 6, had Tyson Fury backing up, or Tyson Fury had Usyk backing up, And instead of pressing the advantage, Tyson Fury let him survive. You can't let him survive. I'm not saying don't taunt and showboat because that's who you are, but you can't let him survive. You can't let moments like that go away because when they do, you indeed are the one that ultimately will regret it. You're the one that's going to be saying, shoot, that was my moment. And you can't let that happen. You didn't let Wilder survive when he got hurt. You can't let Usyk survive when you hurt him. You did it in the last fight. You let him survive round 6. You let him survive being wobbled. You didn't press the advantage. Instead, you wanted to taunt. You didn't go for what needed to be done. You didn't try to close the show when the show could have been closed. You can't let that happen. Because if you do, now, just like when people gave you an inch and you took him out, you gave Usyk an inch and he took the fight. You can't let that happen. And finally, you got to adapt. You got to match Fury. Fury must match Usyk in his ability to constantly adapt and evolve in the fight. There was a point in time when Usyk had adapted to Tyson Fury and took away everything that Tyson Fury normally had at his disposal, who normally was able to get to. There was a time when Tyson Fury was tit for tat with Usyk. Tyson Fury was able to go, and with every change that Usyk made, he made a change himself, up until he couldn't. You can't let that happen this time. You've got to be able to adapt and match him, evolution for evolution, change for change. Because if it gets to a point where, again, let's talk about that sixth gear. When he reaches that top level, that hidden valve, that extra atmosphere that nobody else can get to, and you can't push yourself to get there too, when it comes, now it's just time to, you got to try to impose what you can do versus adapting to what somebody else is doing. And when push comes to shove, you're going to lose that fight, just like you did in this fight. You can't let that happen. You cannot let that happen. With all that being said, there's three things that are going to really solidify what happens. And the result is win. Stamina. On top of that, again, Fury's evolution. And mental blockage. Will a loss be something that makes Fury hesitate? Be wary of what Usyk is going to be able to do to him this time. Because again, that was the best Tyson Fury I had seen. And he still couldn't beat him. He hurt him. The very thing about everything you said, I'm a middleweight, I'm too small, I can't hurt you, I can't do this, that, and the third. I threw back in your face and I beat you with that same rhetoric. Everything that you said, again, you essentially lied about to yourself because I did everything that you said I couldn't do. Is that going to be something that makes Fury hesitate? Make him hesitate in committing to what needs to be done. Could be something that, not saying he's mentally weak, but it's something that when you look out against stamina, you can't let him still have reservoirs to access while you are now running on fumes, especially since you can't move. You got to bring him down to your level. And then Fury's evolution. Now, we talked about Fury's evolution in terms of his ability to go and evolve as the fight evolves. But with Fury's evolution, we're talking about what we've seen from every opponent that Usyk has faced and what we've seen from every time that Fury has had a tough fight. With every opponent that Tyson Fury has faced, when it's been close, he's changed and adapted. Primary example, Deontay Wilder. Tried to outbox him, fought to a draw, even though he indeed did win that fight. He went and said, okay, I fought into a draw going backwards. He had a weakness going forward. So I'm going to become a brawler. And for the next two fights, brawled Deontay Wilder out to Kingdom Come. And knocked him out 2 times. He evolved. He changed. And became, while he isn't the same Tyson Fury, the look was different. But the result was even more destructive. And Tyson Fury that we had known, while it may not be able to be as, again, fleet-footed and light around the ring as he used to be in his prime, like against Klitschko, the Butter Chain still became one of the most dangerous heavyweights in the world. Was a mountain, a literal mountain. That now, not only can I move around you, if I want to, and I will move through you. That's what he turned into. And when it comes to Usyk, every opponent that Usyk has faced, they've gotten better, which is something that people may not have realized. And if Tyson Fury goes along that same vein, we could see him upset Usyk. Just think about it. When he faced off against Derek Chisora, beat him. Now all of a sudden Chisora beats Joe Joyce. And he's looking for one more fight. When he beat AJ. Next thing you know, the first time around he beat him, outboxed him. Second time around, we saw AJ come back and look better and perform better than the first fight. We did. And now with Dubois, the most recent example, he beat Dubois, knocked out Dubois. Dubois, after that fight, evolved into something so totally different. The old Dubois isn't even recognizable. And he changed to the point he knocked out Anthony Joshua. All three of those are examples of opponents that Usyk faced who changed after he went and beat him and turned into a better fighter, or at least revamped their career, or in some way, shape, or form made themselves better. That's what has happened every time Usyk is faced off against an opponent. Almost every time, at least at the elite level or contender level. And with Tyson Fury, this could happen again. This could indeed happen again. And the very thing that we may be saying, oh, there's no way that Fury will be able to win and outbox him, and he may keep it close. It could be that we see Tyson Fury evolve and change, and when he comes into this fight, he's going to be a different man. Again, another metamorphosis happens. This is what happens. It's incredible. And if we see Tyson Fury indeed shift and change and evolve as a fighter in totality, again, that may just be what needs to be done in order to beat Usyk. And that may happen. And we could see an upset. Now that we've covered all the bases, we've covered how Usyk can win, we've covered how Fury can win. Now we got to cover who will win. And my prediction, if it was going to be Fury winning, I would have Fury winning either by knockout in the 11th or by split decision. If it was Fury winning, knockout by the 11th or split decision. If it was Usyk winning, potentially unanimous decision. Or if he hurts Tyson Fury again, especially with the gained weight that we just talked about in the chat, he might knock him out by round 9. But in all totality, who indeed will win this fight, in my estimation, is going to be the one and only, and still heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk. That's right. I'm picking Usyk. After all said and done, I'm picking Usyk to win this fight. I'm picking Usyk to win this war. I'm picking Usyk to be able to go and indeed take out Tyson Fury. I'll say it'll be by unanimous decision. And another incredibly close affair, but unanimous decision in this situation. Because even with everything that I see Fury needing to do, I'm not saying he won't do it. I'm saying he might not be able to do it. And it might be because when it comes to the age of Fury, at this stage, all those changes are going to take something out of Fury. And I think by the time round 7 comes along, it's going to be, we run into the same problem. Fury's tired. Fury can't go. Fury's guard gets lax. Fury's technique wanes. And we will see Usyk go and win. We will see Usyk, just like in the last fight, go through and take Tyson Fury in the deep waters, get to that 6th gear, and Tyson Fury, as much as he wants to go with them to that elevated level, can't do it now. Because he doesn't have the stamina. He doesn't have the ability. He doesn't have the physical capabilities as he used to have in his prime to be able to keep up with Usyk. And I don't think he'll be able to bring Usyk down to his level. I don't think he'll be able to go and get Usyk to be drained by the time the late rounds come. I don't think so. Indeed. Now, one of the things I didn't talk about is if we see Tyson Fury counter Usyk all night long, which is one of the things that made him so successful in the first fight. Countering Usyk, countering with power shots, countering with the uppercut, timing Usyk. Hey, he does that absolutely. It could indeed end with him getting knocked out in terms of Usyk. But I don't think it'll happen. I truly don't. I think Usyk is too unpredictable. And the risk, especially of throwing those counters when it comes to Usyk, is that at that point in time, once he picks up on the rhythm and you're only driven by counters alone, he'll get that timing right. He'll adapt. And next thing you know, just like in the last fight, you'll go from countering and boxing, so now you're in a war. And you can't move like you need to move. You can't react like you need to react. Your technique has gotten lax. Your punches aren't nearly as fast as they were at the start of the fight. You are indeed in trouble. Because you're in deep water. And as much as you can swim, the shark's catching up to you more and more and more. And you are getting fatigued. The lactic acid is building up inside of your muscles. Your breathing is getting heavy. Your arms are struggling to stay up in the posture that needs to be done. The technique that was catching Usyk isn't catching him anymore because the technique is waning. The speed of your punches is slowing down. The energy is getting more and more exacerbated and more exposed every round because of the pressure and the legitimate mental fatigue as well as physical fatigue that Usyk brings on their opponent every single time out. And because of that, there's nothing else people can say except for we are indeed looking at a situation that Usyk, he'll be able to get him. I truly do. And I think even with Tyson Fury potentially being better than he was the first time around, it's going to be a situation where Usyk still is that level above. Excuse me, that sixth gear that he's going to reach. Tyson Fury just can't get to. He can't reach it. It's a brass ring that's just out of range. Even with how tall Tyson Fury is, there is something different about Usyk that every time out he digs deeper than you. He rules the ring when it seems like he's being taken under siege. He constantly wills himself to a level that nobody else seemingly is able to will himself to. It's almost like there's an uncapped potential that he will constantly push himself to get to by any means necessary, that everybody, even somebody as great as Tyson Fury, he just can't reach. And I think we're going to see Tyson Fury get beat by Usyk. I truly do. I think we're going to see Tyson Fury run into the same problems. And since you had to scramble to say I was found in the same situation, and I got to desperately get at him. And he won't be able to. The only thing that I could say that would be the reason why he upsets him is because he's able to counter Usyk all night long and bring Usyk down to his level from a stamina perspective. They both become more flat-footed. And now Tyson Fury can lay on his leather and Usyk can't bob and weave. Usyk can't dart in and out. Usyk can't slip and have the great defense anymore because his reaction time is waning. His reaction time and the ability to instinctually move at what's coming his way, now he can't do it anymore. Or it's slowed down just enough to where Tyson Fury at that current state late in the fight, he can get stuff off now. He can get stuff off. The punches now are landing. The uppercut is getting through more consistently. The body attack, I can land it before you're able to get out the way. I am able now to be able to make my offense really go. And you feel not just the weight of my body, but the weight of my punches. And it becomes inescapable. Unless Tyson Fury can make that happen late in the fight, I don't see it happen. And I think we'll see Usyk get the win. I think we'll see him get the win. And if he sets it up even more, he could get the win he could get it by round 9. And so my final prediction, Usyk beats Fury either by round 9 TKO or by unanimous decision. And still, undefeated and heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk, it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I could be wrong. Absolutely. But I do trust and believe. I think Usyk's going to take this win. Usyk's going to take the victory. Usyk will reign supreme as the best heavyweight in the world. Fight may be more competitive. The fight may have even more fireworks. The fight may indeed have even more up and down experiences. No question. And I could be wrong, absolutely. But I strongly feel that I don't think that Usyk is going to lose. And I don't think Tyson Fury, all the changes that he needs to make, I don't think he'll be able to implement them when it really comes time. And that's late in the fight. If the fight is close by round 7 and Fury hasn't taken an abundance of rounds in the first fight or in the first half of the fight and they split 3-3, I truly think we're going to see a repeat of what happened and potentially a more dominant performance by Usyk, though a more competitive affair overall. And I think we'll see Usyk beat Tyson Fury and still be the not undisputed, be the undefeated and reigning heavyweight champion of the world. That's what I got. That's my opinion. Yes, indeed. That's my opinion. That's my breakdown. How do you feel about it? What do you think's going to happen? What would transpire in your mind if you went and saw this fight? Do you think Tyson Fury is going to be the man to close the show? Do you think that Usyk will indeed not shock the world, but repeat history as he did first time around? Love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the chat below. Trust and believe. We can have a debate. We can have a conversation. This is your show as much as it is mine, and we are going to want to see what you all have to say. But there is still, with all this being said, even when it comes to the fight as a whole, the ramifications of this fight are indeed abundant. Because this most likely is going to be a pound for pound, well, not going to be. It is a pound for pound level fight. This is, in fact, a pound for pound war that's going to have people indeed shifting their numbers, shifting their ranks, shifting what they have and who they have as the best in the world right now. Now, give me 1 second, real quick. Okay, just had to make sure this stuff wasn't going awry on the stream. My apologies, but even still, when it comes to when it comes to pound for pound, and when it comes to looking at the landscape of the rankings of the best in the world, whoever wins this, most likely, is gonna be pound for pound number one. I can almost assure you. That's what's at stake in this fight. Winner of this becomes pound for pound on number one in the world, most likely. If not at minimum second best. And it could be if Tyson Fury beats Usyk, some people could put him at 2. Most people will put him at 1. But there's an argument he could be potentially viewed as second best in the world if he wins. But if we see Usyk beat Tyson Fury a second time, dare I say even more dominantly than what we saw the first time, nah, he's number one. He's number one. He's number one. Like, we have to give credit where credit is due. He would be number one and potentially be fighter of the year with beating Tyson Fury the first time, and then second year, and then first time was it in May earlier this year, and then secondly in December, and gets him out of it. Let alone if he knocks him out clean. Oh, he's number one in the world. He's most likely number one in the world over Terrence Crawford, over Noah Inoue, though Inoue is a better talent in terms of as a boxer. He's better than all of them. But from pound for pound perspective, with the criteria that we've talked about multiple times on this show, there would be no reason to say that he shouldn't be the best in the world right now. There's no reason. And we would now be having conversations about Usyk if Usyk does win. Brother, all time, where do you rank now? That we would have to at least start having those conversations. All time, where would you rank? Not only are you undisputed champion, not only did you beat the best, all the best in your era. All of them. You beat all of them. Multiple times. Beat AJ twice. You beat not Deontay Wilder. You beat Chisora. You beat Tyson Fury twice. You beat Daniel Dubois, who has turned out to be one of the more destructive fighters in this division. That win aged incredibly well. Everything that you've been doing, everything that you've been doing is indeed successful and dominant, and against the competition that is either elevated after you beat them or when you faced off against them were looking like they were at the peak of their powers. And you clean them up. You clean everybody up. There is nobody else in the division. There's nobody else in the heavyweight division. There's arguably nobody else in other boxing divisions outside of Inoue and outside of Terrence Crawford that has genuinely cleaned up every single person that they face off against. There isn't. Name me one. Bam ain't even done that, and he's on his way. He ain't even done that yet. Only person that's done that as of right now is is Inoue. Genuinely. At least from what I gather. It's only been Inoue. And yo, Mapai, what's up? How you doing? Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. How's it going? We are here. We are alive. We are set and ready, and I don't know why we looking a little down today with the viewers, but that ain't no hold up against anybody. We appreciate everybody who is here. We've been having struggle getting people to get the notifications. I don't know why it's not popping up for some people. We're gonna figure it out, but either way, we just got through talking about Fury versus Usyk for the undisputed, or not undisputed, excuse me, for the unified heavyweight championship of the world in their rematch. And if you would, please go on and leave a like on the stream so we can get people to go and sit in and see what we got going on. Get people to come in and want to bask in the great show that is the Welch Report right here with us. But hey, we just touched on who we think's gonna win. We just touched on who I think's gonna win. My breakdown of the fight in full with everybody, with all things taken into account. And to recap real quickly, I got Usyk beating Fury. I have Usyk beating Fury, and I got Usyk beating Fury either by 9th round KO or by unanimous decision. It's still going to be incredibly close. It's still going to be a very volatile affair. It's going to be arguably, might even be a better fight than it was the first time. But I think we will see a similar story to the first time out, and we will have Usyk be able to go in later rounds, especially if the fight is close, and switch to a gear that Fury can't compete with. He can't. And on top of that, with the fact that we now got reports that Usyk has gained weight in this fight, while some people may say that is a detriment, this is a situation where it may be good, because Tyson Fury's game plan might be coming into this fight, drain the gas tank of Usyk early, not just with body work and with legitimately flooding the basement, as in the words of Teddy Atlas, but also with the ability to indeed clinch up, lean on him, like he did with Tyson, like he did with Wilder. Make him carry you all fight, especially in the early rounds. And then by the time the late rounds come along, the stamina of Fury and the stamina of Usyk are now on the same level, instead of Usyk still rising in his ability to reach a new and different stratosphere, and Usyk still struggling to stay at the high gear that he currently is because he's tired. And that could be the very difference maker. And because of that, I think we're going to see a similar story to the first fight, and we see Tyson Fury get beat by Usyk, and Usyk retains and still is the undefeated, unified heavyweight champion in the world, and goes down as probably the pound for pound best in the world, most likely, if not best in the world, at least second best. But I would have to put this brother as the best in the world. There would be no question. There would be none. There would be no question at all. He would be the best in the world. I'll assure it. He would be the best in the world. Pound for pound number one. And we're talking about him on a historic level. An incredible level. A high tier of elite talent that has indeed done what not a lot of heavyweights have done, or what some of only the greatest heavyweights have done in their tenure, which is go through everybody in their division. Go through everybody. Go literally run roughshod through everybody in the division. Not many in heavyweight hits, or only the best of the best have done that. Faced off against AJ, faced off against Fury, faced off against Dubois, they faced off against Chisora, faced off against every single relevant opponent and take him out. It would be an elite tier, a unique tier, a very scary prospect in a good way. Because it would be that scary good. My gosh, it would be incredible if he does pull this off. He would be my pound number one. But let's see, all Usyk from a pie, all Usyk fights, all Usyk heavyweight fights were close. Fury 2 will be close. What do you think about that? Oh, absolutely. I think it'll be close. Oh, let's not mince words about it. It will be a close affair. I say unanimous decision, not because it will be an outright dominating affair. No. In terms of, oh yeah, there's no contest. No. I think it's still going to be just as competitive, just as close, just as fierce as it was the first time around. Dare I say, even more fierce with how we have legitimately Fury looking to get redemption. Fury has not felt defeat ever up until now. Fury has never experienced loss before up until now inside of the ring. Now there is a newfound fire that's going to be under the feet of Tyson Fury. And that could indeed make for one of the best heavyweight fights that we've seen in the modern day generation. No question about it. This is talent versus talent. This is elite versus elite. This is unquestionably the best versus the best. There is no doubt that it will be close. It will be close. I just think, in my opinion, a close fight can still be a unanimous fight. Somebody can clearly win, but the fight is indeed a spectacle. The fight is indeed a fight of the year contender. That's entirely what I see happening. It will be a fight that we'll all remember. It will be a fight that we all are going to talk about constantly. But it's going to be a fight that, as much as Tyson Fury is going to make adjustments, be better, evolve, overcome, adapt, and prepare, I don't think it's going to be enough to face off against Usyk. And what Usyk did and what I think he's going to do, I don't think it's going to be that we will have a dispute over who won. I don't think. I could be wrong. Again, on my prediction, I think it's going to be, it will be an incredibly close fight, but it will be clear who won. See what I'm saying? It will be clear who won, even if it's still a hotly contested, incredibly close affair. Absolutely. Oh, no question in my mind. No question about it. None whatsoever. None. I have no issue with saying it. Because this is going to be a fight between two people that are indeed so well matched for each other. Tyson Fury has the length, size, and ability to go and overcome Usyk's darting in and out style and Usyk's athleticism and speed. Usyk perfectly can counter Tyson Fury's boxing ability, height, and length with darting in and out, being elusive, off center, and feinting. And stylistic, also at the southpaw, he's built to be able to beat him. He's got the ability to beat him. You saw it. He can overwhelm you. He can get on the inside and be successful and be able to beat Fury, where for most people it would be the most dangerous vein for him. He's got the chin to be able to take his punches. He's got the stamina to be able to outlast him when the fight gets late, and he can turn it up to a level that Usyk or that Fury hasn't shown that he can reach it. He hasn't. Though Fury is indeed elite, it's a level that he hasn't gotten to. That's the truth. That's the objective truth. He can get there. He's got to prove it, though. He's got to prove he can reach that level. He's got to prove he can reach that threshold. He's got to prove that he can reach the sixth gear that Usyk got to. He's got to prove that he's got the ability to match Usyk when Usyk goes up. He's got to do it. There's no way he can win if he doesn't show that. And because of that big discrepancy, I don't think we're going to see Fury be able to win. I think it will be close. I don't think he'll be able to win. This will be a fight that he'll be able to hang his head up high with. He will be able to look up with his chin up. He will be able to be proud of this performance, both of them. But I don't think he'll be able to win. I really don't. A lot of people are saying that Fury's going to take the rematch because the changes that he needs to make are not something that is egregious. But the issue is, can he make those changes? Can he make those changes? Can he be able to clinch up? Can he be able to force Usyk to get to his stamina level of lower stamina later in the fight? Can we see Tyson Fury take Usyk into deep waters like Usyk's been doing against every other opponent? And I don't think he'll be able to. Because when the fight gets late and the amount of movement Fury has to use just to keep away and keep the prime distance from Fury, or from Usyk rather, he's got to move around all night long. He has to. He's got to move around all night long and expend energy all night long, both mentally and physically. Something that Usyk has been able to do countless times and is a master at. And it can do it with the greatest of ease. Tyson Fury, The bad part about being big, you can become susceptible to your own weight. And the stamina that you have, while it may outclass other people, when there is somebody that can match you, it's a problem. It's a problem, especially if they can indeed reach you or outwork you. When it comes time to be like, hey, I'm lumbering, I'm laboring, I'm flat-footed, I am not as spry as I normally am. No. No, sir. We're looking at a problem. And I think that's what's going to happen with Tyson Fury. He's going to get tired late. He's going to get lax. He's going to be in a situation where he is struggling, legitimately struggling. And we will see him succumb to the similar wows that we saw in their first fight. And potentially, if we see Usyk get Tyson Fury hurt again, now that we know that the power is real, we could see this brother, he'll end the show. He'll end it. He won't let that happen again. Let that opportunity pass him by to where he can get you out of there. He won't let that happen again. Mark my words. Let Tyson Fury get hurt again. Let him get hurt again. Let Tyson Fury get hurt again. I guarantee you, it won't be a situation where he misses. It won't be a situation where he survives. I promise you. I promise you. It's gonna the amount of stuff that Usyk has to do, though it may seem like he's got to do less work because he's bigger, because he's taller, because he's longer. He's got to do as much work as Tyson as Usyk. He's got to. It just looks different, but the work to keep at distance is just as much as the work that Usyk's got to use to close the distance. It's just a matter of who will be able to get off their technique first? Whose technique will fail? Who will get lax first? Who will indeed start stepping down? When will the decline start for both of these fighters when it comes to a later point in the fight? That's what's going to happen. And when it comes down to that game, Usyk ain't lost yet. He ain't losing now when it comes to that situation. At least to me. But that's just my opinion. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Love to hear how you feel about this fight. Love to hear what you got to say about this whole affair. Because now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the championship rounds. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, we are. Yes, sir. I've covered everything I need to cover. Now it's up to you, the viewing and listening public. What do you have to say about all this that we got going on? I've given you my breakdown. I've given you my opinion on the fight. So I've broken down everything as intricately as possible to give you as big of a detailed paintbrush of what to expect to see when it comes to Fury versus Usyk. Now I want to hear from you. What do you have to say about this whole affair? Do you think I'm completely wrong? Do you think I'm completely right? How is it that you feel when it comes to Usyk indeed making his claim potentially as the best in the world if he wins against Tyson Fury? Do you think that Tyson Fury is being underrated by a lot of people and we are underestimating what his ability will be in this fight? This is your time to shine, talk about whatever you want to talk about in the boxing landscape or beyond, whether it's basketball, whether it's movies, everything under the sun. If I can talk about it, hey, I'll talk about it and I'll give you my opinions and thoughts on it all. But the playing field is yours. It's your show as much as it is mine. But as you're getting your questions and thoughts together, when it comes to Tyson Fury, I've said this in the past, and I'm going to say this again. We are looking at a situation where do not be surprised if this fight is the last fight of Tyson Fury's career, or at least the beginning of the end. Don't be surprised at all. If he loses this fight, he may just say, I'm done. Call it quit. Got my $90 million purse. It's split down the middle. Usyk's going to get some more. Usyk's going to get more of it. Fury's going to get less of it. But with all the money, the biggest fight he could possibly get under his belt 2 times, and if he becomes unsuccessful, ride off into the sunset. There's nothing else for me to prove in Fury's mind. There's nothing else I need to give to the sport. And as much as he wants to say, we have to make AJ versus Fury happen. As much as you might want to say, we have to make AJ versus me the biggest British boxing main event probably in heavyweight history. from a British standpoint. This would be box office. This would seat so many people in Wembley. This would be ridiculous, preposterous. And we just saw the biggest coming out party for Britain in Wembley between Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua. There has been no fight that's had more people in British history than that fight with Dubois versus AJ. And AJ versus Fury, brother, that would sell even more than that. I dare say 100,000 people, if not more. They would find a way to fit it inside that stadium. They may have to get a brand new stadium, a soccer stadium, to fit that many people in there. The amount of people that are going to want to see that fight transpire. Because it makes no sense that fight hasn't happened to this point, let alone that fight hasn't happened. And we've been looking for it to happen for years. We want it. They say that they want it. But will it happen? We don't know. If we see this loss, though, don't be surprised if we never get that fight. Genuinely. Because it could be that, hey, I'm done. There's nothing else for me to show. Nothing else for me to prove. Nothing else for me to be able to go and overcome. Because I got my money. I got my family. I have my health. I gave you everything I had. And the ball proverbially now goes on to another man's court. Potentially, that's what people could be saying. That's what people could be seeing. That's what people could be unexpectedly, that's what people could see unexpectedly happen. But it's something that is indeed a possibility. But what you got to say, Mapa, right now, Usyk knows he can drop Fury. Interesting thing for me, and that's one of the biggest proponents. It's even worse. It's worse that Fury knows he can drop him. See, here's the thing. When it comes to Usyk and Fury, Usyk was able to drop Tyson Fury, wobble him, hurt him worse than we've ever seen him hurt before. But with Tyson Fury, it was a situation where Fury was not able to drop Usyk. So Usyk on Fury's best punch, and Tyson Fury had two punches that I was for sure was going to put Usyk down. A right hand that was a counter right hand off of Usyk lunging in on the inside late I think in round 5. That absolutely caught. I heard the sound through my TV. It was ridiculous, and I said that punch. How did Usyk not go down? And then the uppercut that wobbled Usyk. How did Usyk not go down again? Those two punches. Those two punches were Tyson Fury's best shots, and he couldn't get him done. He couldn't get it done. He couldn't put him down. But Usyk was able to hurt him. Usyk was able to rock him. Usyk was able to make him bleed. Not just cut him up and bruise him, but drop him substantially. Definitively. Some people were saying it should have been a knockout, as we talked about earlier in the show. There is no question, none whatsoever, that Fury is feeling the weight of the threat that he only felt with Deontay Wilder. This is different. And in this case, it might be worse. Because with Wilder, he expected to potentially be dropped because of the power that Wilder brings to the table. He expected it. You expect to be hurt when Wilder's coming your way. Because Wilder is, in my opinion, he has the greatest right hand that we've ever seen in boxing history. Unequivocally. He's not the most powerful puncher. Because powerful punchers encapsulates all of boxing. Or all of punches. From jabs, hooks, straights, uppercuts, all of it. That's different. You're talking George Foreman, Ernie Shavers, and the likes of those, Mike Tyson's. Those are most powerful punchers in boxing. But for one punch, the right hand is the greatest right hand I've ever seen. The best right hand I've ever seen in boxing history. Even better than Joe Lewis's from a destructive standpoint. It's better. It is indeed better. But you expect to be hurt when you face off against Deontay Wilder. Fury wasn't expecting Usyk to be able to hurt him. Fury saw him hurt AJ. AJ's got a weak chin. Fury saw him hurt and knocked out Daniel Dubois. Dubois' a quitter. We've seen him get hurt and dropped and knocked down before. We saw all this. And we were saying it should be no surprise that this stuff happens to those opponents because they are indeed susceptible to it. But me, and I get hurt? Nah. How could that happen? How could that be? What in the world would make you think that that's possible. But with Usyk, it was possible. And it shocked Tyson Fury. It did. Even against Francis Ngannou, with the power that Ngannou brings to the table, it was not a surprise to say that the only reason that we could see Ngannou win what it was at that point in time by knocking out Tyson Fury. That's it. Turns out he could actually box a little bit. He could actually box with Tyson Fury. And the length and athleticism, when you can have somebody size for size match him, hey, the brother can go. But he knocked him down. But it was like, oh my gosh, he landed the shot. It's not that we didn't say the shot couldn't put him down. It was that would Ngannou be able to even land on Tyson Fury? He did more than land. Oh, he took him to school. He took him to work. He put in work on him. In my opinion, he won that fight. But the reactions are now different. The shock isn't that, oh, I'm surprised he landed on me. The shock isn't that, oh, I'm surprised that he was able to get to me. The shock is that against Wilder, against Ngannou, and against other powerful punchers, it was not out of the realm of possibility that I could get dropped and get hurt. With Usyk, it indeed was. Nobody thought that, or many people thought that Usyk wouldn't be able to hurt him. Many people thought that Usyk wouldn't be able to drop him. Many people thought that Usyk's power wasn't enough to go against the chin of Tyson Fury and against the chin of somebody who took on Deontay Wilder, who had the best right hand that we've seen in boxing history, that could drop any man. It was not expected. Now, the same threat of getting dropped in the power, same threat of Wilder. From the vein of, I have to worry about it. Not in terms of destructive ability, but in terms of I have to worry about it. I have to be wary. I have to be concerned about the power. There is now a fixed point that Fury can never get comfortable with, that he wasn't expecting to have an issue with. He wasn't expecting to have to struggle with it. He wasn't expecting to have a problem. That power is one of the things I have to worry about in this fight, not just boxing ability. Now, it's not just about me being able to box with Usyk. If I get caught now, brother, he could put me down. He could put me down. And what did I say earlier in the first fight with Usyk and Fury? The weight that Fury cut for this fight may be the biggest detriment to Tyson Fury. The weight that he cut was a shock absorber that if he didn't have that, if he had that, against Usyk, like he did against Deontay Wilder, like he did against Otto Wallin, like he did and has had on every opponent he's faced, maybe he wouldn't have gotten rocked. Maybe he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Maybe he wouldn't have gotten in a situation where he was concerned about what was being landed on him. That's what we're looking at. And because the shock absorber of the mass that he had all throughout his other career now got cut, trimmed up, and dropped for this fight, which, again, from a looks perspective, the fittest we've ever seen Tyson Fury. But from a standpoint of taking punishment, it could be that, yeah, Wilder and the fights and the wars that he had with Deontay indeed did take something out of him. Indeed did crack the chin. We've seen that with Joe Joyce, the most modern day example. After he got cracked by Big Bang Zhang, never the same as a toughness type fighter. Has gotten dropped in almost every fight since. Stumbled and wobbled every fight since Big Bang Zhang. And got dropped and beat against Derek Chisora. Chin was never the same. That could be what we're seeing from Tyson Fury. Or it could be indeed this was just something that he didn't take into account. Now, he's got to worry. I'm not worried about him getting up. He's got to worry about being put down there. That threat, I have to be prepped to get up. It's something that we never thought Fury would have to have a legitimate preparation for against Usyk, of all people, of all heavyweights, especially inside of Usyk's mind now, or especially inside of Fury's mind, But now, he's got to worry about it. He's got to worry about getting up from Usyk. He's got to worry about, I need to be prepared to get up from Usyk. I need to be prepared of getting hurt from Usyk. I need to be prepared of getting dropped by Usyk. There's preparation he had no dreams of preparing for, that now he's got to look out for. This is, it's different. Usyk is an amalgamation of everything that Fury has faced all in one body. Footwork, speed, undersized, and great combination puncher, great stamina, and power that can put me down, and toughness to go with me, and to be able to go all 12 rounds and elevate my game. Fury's faced off against that individually against people before. Never faced off against the whole of that, all in one body. Klitschko, great chin, great power, great fundamentals, great boxer. Didn't have great footwork or great speed and couldn't catch Tyson Fury. Otto Wallin, undersized, great hand speed, was quick and fast, would cut him, don't get me wrong, but inevitably, stamina, when it came time to lean on him, well on him, and go into deep waters, you can't hang with me. I can maul you and take you out. Wilder had the size of Fury in terms of height-wise, speed, power, athletic ability, heart, everything that you was scary. Didn't have fundamentals, had terrible boxing ability, and had stamina problems. Everybody that Fury has faced didn't have everything that makes that can indeed beat. They only had a semblance of things. Usyk has everything that all of his opponents had tied into one. Power, not to the level of Deontay Wilder, but power to put you down. Wilder and Ngannou. Footwork, shoot, he's got footwork better. He's the best footwork in boxing right now. Speed, one of the fastest boxers in the game. One of the most athletic, one of the most agile, got one of the best chins. Is indeed can adapt and change. He's got everything that everybody that Tyson Fury's ever faced. That he's built to beat him. Usyk is built to beat Fury. Usyk is built to take out Fury. Usyk is built to be able to overcome Fury. He is. I'm not saying he's indomitable. I'm not saying he's unbeatable. We could see Fury come back, adapt, and win. I think it's going to happen. We'll see. I truly believe we will see Usyk come through and beat Tyson Fury. We will see Usyk come through and beat the Gypsy King. We will see Usyk come through and again show why he is indeed the best heavyweight in the world today, with no strings attached, no qualms or concerns, no ill will or no confusing sentiments. He's got everything that you need to beat somebody like a Fury. It's on Fury now to adapt to him instead of what everybody's done against Fury, which was, it's not on the opponent having to adapt to Fury. It's Fury adapting to the opponent. It's a completely different game. It's a completely different threshold. It's a whole new, unique moniker that Usyk has never faced, that Fury, has never faced before. And because of that, it's prime time to be beaten, prime time to be exposed, prime time to be seen as vulnerable. Not even vulnerable. Dare I say, just I'm the one guy you can't get over. I'm the one guy you can't get through. I'm the one opponent you cannot overcome. Because I got the one thing you don't got. I have that extra atmosphere. I have that sixth gear. I have that elevated state. I have the ability to push beyond my limit. I have the ability to go beyond what I normally see. I got the ability to will myself to reach a threshold that is nigh unreachable for every other opponent that faces off against me. I can get to a state that I didn't even think was possible for me. Can you do the same for you? That's what this fight really comes down to. And with Usyk, he's got that in him. And Fury doesn't. Not saying that Fury isn't great. Not saying Fury can adapt. I'm not saying Fury can't will himself to be something. I know we've seen it. But there is a threshold that I've seen with Tyson Fury. He can will himself up to a point, and then not be able to get beyond that point. Now, that point is something that everybody can't get to, which is understandable and indeed great. But when it comes to Fury, once he reaches that threshold now, that's the most he can get to. Usyk, he can get beyond that threshold. And because of that, I don't think we'll see Tyson Fury be able to win. Close competitive fight. It will be, adaptations will be done. And it will be a situation where we will see Tyson Fury indeed look better. I wholeheartedly believe it. But I think we're going to, when it comes down to the end of it all, it's going to be a situation where it's just too much. Too much that Usyk brings to the table, and too much that Usyk can elevate his game to, that Fury, as much as he may try, he can't get there. I don't think he'll be able to get there. And I think we'll see him win. I think we'll see Usyk win. I truly think that we'll see Usyk indeed come out on top and take out the world and be able to go and show again why he is the undefeated, unified, heavyweight champion of the world. And not arguably, most likely, definitively, the best boxer, pound for pound, in the world right now. I truly think it's going to happen. Oh, gosh, I can't wait for it. I'm so excited. And it's a situation where, shoot, Saturday can't come soon enough. The 21st can't come soon enough. It's this then Christmas Day. Brother, everybody is going to be excited to see what we got going on. Oh, boy. And trust me, we'll be back Thursday to talk more about this, talk more about the show, talk more about the fight, and get more people involved into your opinions and thoughts on what we got going on. But with all that being said, again, this is the championship rounds. If anybody's got anything else to say about the fight, hey, go ahead. Speak now. Let me hear you. Let me see what you got going on. Let me hear what you got to say. Absolutely. But if nobody else has anything to say, if everybody's all well and good, if everybody can't wait for the 21st, ladies and gentlemen, all I got to say is this has been a phenomenal show. This has been a phenomenal fight. This is going to be a phenomenal fight. This is going to be a breakdown for the ages. And I guarantee you this. We all, I do mean all, are going to be excited to see what we got to say. But with all that being said, this has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the show. Oh, yes, ma'am, indeed. We got a lot to say. We've had a lot to say. Had a whole bunch of fun. And trust and believe, we will be back on Thursday to, again, further talk about the fight, further talk about your thoughts, further talk about other stuff in the boxing and sports world entirety with basketball. And we got the NBA Cup tonight between the Bucks and OKC. You don't want to miss two teams that maybe will meet in the finals this year. As looking at some of the best in the world right now in the NBA, Giannis versus SGA, two MVP caliber players going at it. Oh, it's going to be a great sight to see, and I can't wait for this. We're going to break that down. We're going to break the fight down. We're going to do all that and more come Thursday. We will be back on Thursday, 12 o'clock or 12:30 on the dot. Can't wait to see you. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love, and we are out of here. Oh, yes, indeed. Have fun. Enjoy your week. Have yourself a good time on the job. Listen to me when you're off the clock. Again, leave a like on this stream. Go listen to it on every podcasting platform. Rate us 5 stars everywhere that you can, because we're available everywhere to go and re-listen to and re-watch the show. And we will see you all on Thursday. Catch you in 2 days or 3 days. However, what is it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, we'll catch you on Thursday, however long it may be. We'll catch you there.